This is the epicenter of audio frequency entertainment.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Can't get enough of it.
Oh, yeah. You guys are the best.
Heffron and Reep.
I love you, love you, love you.
The Heffron and Reep Show.
Everybody, welcome to the John Heffron and Jon Reep Interwebs podcast.
Yeah,
Guys
baby.
Talking to each other from their bedrooms across the country.
Yeah,
like it's a radio show, but it's not. It's called podcasting, which is fake radio shows people do in the bedrooms.
What song are you doing? I can't quite understand it.
Making up, but dude, look what I just found. So
What?
before the show, hold on.
He found something. John has turned around and he's digging.
I found a box.
He found a box. Oh, what's in the box?
Do you have a way of Googling something right there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so Google this, dude. I found a whole box of these. Tell me what this thing's worth. Look good.
What is it?
Go Marvel Superheroes Secret War #1. Right there. Found a whole box of comic books.
Secret War.
Uh-huh.
#1.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I pulled it up here. It's worth $947.
Dude.
That's awesome. You just found that?
I just found that. Volume
Wow.
2.
If it's in mint condition, it says here $947. That's amazing.
This is like mint. Look at that. There's not even, I even kept it in the little thing.
Wow, dude. What do you mean you found it? Where was it?
I have a box in my basement, and I think these are all my old comic books. And I just open them. Hey, randomly
Dude, this
check
is great.
out.
Who cares
randomly
about
check out-
Spotify and Sound Exchange anymore? You found a new source of income, my friend. You
Try
get
this
the
one.
money.
Let's try Marvel Superhero Secret War #3. Let's just see what happens. 3. Oh, man.
Number 3?
Spider-Man's fighting
That's
Wolverine.
worth, according to this one, it's worth maybe $449.95 on eBay.
Dude, I just found like
That's great.
probably a couple thousand bucks.
What are you going
on
to
it.
do with that? Are you going to keep them? Are you going to sell it?
I'm probably just going to read them. No, I'm selling. How'd you not sell them? Look at the box it came in. You can tell I've had this thing. This thing has made it through grandparents' houses that smoked this little, you know how it's yellow and gross.
Yeah. How many comic books would you say are in there? Is it all like Marvel superheroes, or is there any Dukes of Hazzard in there?
I don't know if there's any. I have Wolverine. Check out like what Wolverine #1 is. Wolverine #1.
All right.
Wolverine #1.
Wolverine #1. According to the web, it could be worth $89 or $239. I see different prices up here.
Oh,
You've got some income coming your way, dude. That's great.
The Secret War ones, I think, were the huge ones.
I wish we had more time to talk about that, but we have a special guest today.
All right.
Are you excited for our special guest?
Very excited about our special guest.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might know him as Bo Duke. You might know him as, Superman's dad. The one and the only John Schneider is going to be zooming into this show here in a little bit. And I'm excited. John, have you ever met John Schneider?
I have not. Maybe. I will say maybe, but if I did, I was a little kid.
Okay.
He's not much older than us, but I was, proportionally younger.
Do you want me to introduce you to him, or do you want to just jump in there? I mean, how's this going to work?
We'll be gentlemen. You can just introduce, because I don't think he's going to remember me.
I'll say John Schneider. This is my assistant, John Heffron. He looks up stuff on the internet. He sells comic books.
Those comic books, we have them on every week. It's comic book Friday. And
he's never watched one episode of Dukes of Hazzard. He doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll introduce you properly. I'll give you some props, dude.
Yeah, because I think if I remember I'll save this story. I'm excited that I saw on eBay for that one that I just showed you. Somewhere you could get it for 10 grand.
Okay.
So
that's amazing.
If that's true, if I'm sitting on 40 grand,
I need you to shake that off though, because we got to focus on this guest.
Okay.
It's very exciting news, and I'm very happy for you.
Okay.
But I can't have your mind drifting off to how much money you got sitting behind you. I need you to focus on John Schneider.
Okay. I will.
Okay. What do you have questions prepared? I know you were going to try and pitch a movie idea to him.
Well, I got a couple questions for him, and then I have an idea. I'm going to write the idea down.
Hey guys, I'm just going to let you know, Mr. Schneider is ready to hop in.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's go ahead and play the.
It was you, and I was about ready to jump right in my questions.
All right,
and then it's for Alan.
Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Alan.
Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
All right. So ideas for.
So, hey, John.
Oh, hey, John. How are you?
I'm swell. How you doing, boy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for zooming in. You're on the Heffron and Reep show. I want to introduce you to my co-host who's sitting up there top left corner. Very funny comedian. He's been on the Tonight Show several times. We're talking specials on Netflix, Amazon, and a winner of Last Comic Standing as well, Mr. John Heffron. Yeah.
Thank you, John. And right before we had you on, I found an old box of comic books, and we were checking out the value of them. And I found that I had some that are worth some money. And normally, right, if you see a comic book is worth, like $400, $500, and you paid 10 cents as a kid, it's not that big of money. But if you're somebody like me who's gone through a divorce, and then you find a whole box of something that nobody even knew existed, and it was bought pre-divorce, somehow that $800 comic book is just not worth $10,000 to me.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's worth. It just
feels like. What comic book is that? What do you have there?
It was. What was it, John? It was Secret Wars.
You had Secret Wars, Marvel. Secret
Wars. I don't even know.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Secret Wars.
You kept them. You kept them. I have this recurring dream that I still have my metal Batman lunchbox with all of my baseball cards in it from 1964. And they're worth, probably the cards I had in my box now are probably worth couple of million bucks.
So it's a dream, though.
We'd flip them for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh, wow.
I remember those lunch boxes from back then. They were just those cool steel ones. Obviously, having you on, I'm trying to think of how old I was when Dukes of Hazzard was on. I'm 52. I was of lunchbox carrying age, I believe, when it first came out. Because so I had that, and then I had the Steve Austin. But where I got grounded was, for some reason, I'd walk with my $6 Million Man one, and I would throw it as far as I could ahead of me, and then I'd walk and grab it and throw it, and I wanted to see how many throws it would take to actually make it home. And it got busted up, and then my parents no longer bought me steel lunch boxes.
So you did kick the can with your $6 million man. Wow. The reason why they call it kick the can, because a lot of people will kick a can when they
and not not a $12 lunchbox from Kmart.
A $6 million lunchbox.
Well, our Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox was the last. This is what I'm told by collectors, the last embossed metal lunchbox. So, our figures were actually, they stuck out from the metal. Later on, they just kind of, Lassie, and they started making all these things again, and they were just flat and they were printed. Well, ours were actually embossed, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100% it is. I wish I
still
had my old
smell too. They had a certain smell, those boxes, if you left it in your locker.
Or liverwurst.
Yeah, and then your teacher's like, you haven't taken your lunchbox home in 4 days. Can you get that? And you're like, oh, okay. And you open it up.
Like Clorox, right?
Yeah.
It smelled like Clorox.
Wow. So, Mr. Schneider, where are you zooming in from today? Are you in Louisiana?
I'm in Louisiana.
Okay.
Now, I know
Louisiana,
you guys where you were not long ago, being hysterically funny. Have you seen it?
I sure did. Yes, I laughed out loud several times.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
I want to say one of my favorite laughs. It wasn't a scene with me. It was a scene where Michael Sullivan and Dane Rhodes were playing Tiny and Tim Needham when they were trying to get into the car. And randomly he said, "All right, turtle mode." And like,
yeah.
I laughed when we filmed that. You were there when we filmed that. I didn't know he was going to do that either. I wondered what the hell? What is let's turtle it? Oh my God. Because Michael Sullivan gives the appearance of someone that's far more fragile than being able to do that particular move.
Yeah.
And Dane is strong as an ox, but you wouldn't know that when you're looking at him. You'd think, okay. So, folks, what John is talking about is Dane turns around and then grabs Michael's arms like this, so they're back to back, and then pulls him and then shoves his feet in the window of Rupert T. Justice's car. And
that was awesome. I mean, I love too that it wasn't just a quick thing; it was a wide shot. And you stayed on him the whole time. And then, like, he finally got in there and his hat was off. And you can see he was out of breath because that's to get your feet, like, you're basically doing a plank the whole time getting into the window.
Yep. And there's a door lock involved, which, no telling where that went. So it was,
right.
It was so fun to see and so funny when I cut that together. Those guys are great.
I wonder how long.
Nobody has said to me yet. I don't think anybody realizes that Timmy Needham and the sheriff are the same guy.
Really? Wow. Well, then, done.
We didn't try to hide it, but I think Dane is that good.
Well, he is playing. I mean, you could tell he's doing it differently, obviously. But he that first scene where he comes out and he puts the apple box down and stands on it, and you're like. You're something different. Yeah. And so that right away explained the whole thing. Yeah.
Tyrus couldn't get out of his gig in New York. He called me this morning. Just go with it. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the only bummer for me was I was kind of hoping to meet Tyrus while I was down there for the day and a half.
Well, he said he'll do that. He'll that was the first week of his brand new contract with the Gutfeld show.
Okay.
So they were in the mode of we want you here. We want to make sure that you're here. So they made him be in New York a couple of days ahead of time just for their own comfort, because with this whole nonsense going on, nobody knows nothing. So so he couldn't be there. But he said, please let me come and be in the next one. So I'm thinking we're going to have Tyrus and Dane in the next one.
Okay.
Arguing about who gets to do what scene.
Yeah, right. Well, it was a great experience, man. I was happy. I was able to do it. I made John Heffron jealous because he's like, I want to be in one of those movies. So
yeah, I'm always pitching Reep buddy comedy movies because we're 50-year-old comedians. We've done super well on the road, but you reach an age where no one's really looking for a 50-year-old. For anything. So I told Reep, I'm like, I got some buddy comedy things that we're gonna do. We're gonna shoot them guerrilla-y. And that's what impressed me most about this thing. So when John said he was gonna do Poker Run, I remember we're obviously doing the podcast. He's like, I gotta go down to, I believe, Louisiana to shoot some things. And then I started following you just on Facebook. Because I think you posted something about John, and I go, he's one of the funniest, and then you do that type of thing. But then I saw how fast things move. So you banged out that movie, and I'm saying that in a good way, fast enough for me to think, John Reep, we could do what I want to do. I'm not as intimidated about it as I was, because this movie from start to finish, Poker Run, is done, right? And it seems like you went away and shot it like a couple months ago.
Well, we did principal photography in something silly like 11 or 12 days.
Wow.
But then me and my camera and occasionally I'd go out and we race dirt track. So I'd go shoot some parts of the dirt track race. Right. I'd go shoot some things. So I would say 80% of the movie took 12 days and the rest of it took a couple of months just because I had them. So I also edit the movie. So I would cut the scenes together and go, this is great, but if I had this, it'd be better. So I just go out and shoot it. Mm-hmm. So, it's a really good thing to be the writer editor. Right. And I'm not the cinematographer, but I can go out and shoot things as needed. So it's actually one of the things that happened because of all the lockdowns and all the nonsense in 2020. We made the predecessor to this movie. We made Stand on It, and we had a 15-20 day schedule, and all of a sudden everything shut down. So all of a sudden, whatever I shot in 3 days, I had to make as much of a movie out of that as I could, and then get the rest, like you say, in a guerrilla fashion, just kind of on the sly.
Right.
Good thing about these movies is that the person that has the most screen time other than the car is me. So I can go and I know where I am at all times. Well, almost all times.
Right.
And so I can go out and shoot stuff with me, and fill in the gaps. So it was a great process. We are doing another one. It's called Double or Nothing. And this time there's going to be $5 million on the line, and we'll build, if you're available, both Johns, we'll have you both in. But, all right. Your character would come back like off duty or something. And so it's my favorite line in the movie is when you turn to Dion and say, "Oh, I love you on Fox," by the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, thank you."
There were a lot of fun little inside sort of jokes, a little wink at the cameras in this film, which I loved. And Dion was great. And the guy, Dane Rhodes, when he was good. You could tell this guy's a good actor.
Amazing.
Yeah.
To me, Dane, you should see him he's in a lot of movies. And he's one of those guys that you don't realize it's him because he's so different. Yeah. Every time you see him. And I don't mean just a lot of our movies. He's in a lot of movies in general. And to me, Dane is the same caliber as Russell Crowe. He's that when he wants to be he was in your face there. It was comic, but still, it was like frighteningly.
Yeah. Funny. I've told him, I said, listen, we're trying to move quick. I said, don't hesitate. Get right in my face. You will not make me mad. And he's like, copy that. And then I think it was, he was all up in there. I was covered in Dane's spit. And I was like, all right, it's lunchtime.
Oh my God.
It was fun. Yeah, he was great.
So with that, I have so many, because I follow you, John, on Facebook now, I have so many random questions. So, and that's the thing about me is we bounce all over the place.
Okay, go for it.
He's got ADD big time.
Yeah, out of all your side hustles, I follow, and I didn't get involved with it, but some of your fans actually got me mad when I would watch a video of you, literally say, we have Stand on It, we have Poker Run DVDs coming out. If you don't sign them, if you don't order it now, you're not going to get the signature. We're going to get backed up before Christmas. So today's the day. You have to sign them if you want them to. And you give a nice little speech and you walk around your place. Then I would look at the comments, and the very, very next comics underneath was, I ordered Stand on It yesterday and I didn't get it yet. And it's not signed. And I would get so mad. I would obviously wouldn't post anything. I always wanted to go.
But yeah, John, I went through so many hoops to explain to people, this is a pre-order.
Yeah.
The movie will not come out until Orange Friday, which in my world is the Friday after Thanksgiving, in honor of the General Lee, right? And all things orange. We're going to start Orange History Month. I mean, all that stuff. And people would say, I ordered mine yesterday and I didn't get it, or I ordered it last week and I didn't get it. I say, I'm not finished with it yet.
Yeah. I wanted to jump on and defend you, but I didn't. But I did.
Well, next time, come on.
Yeah, step up, Heffron.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and they'll call too. Some people will call the office and say, "Hey, I ordered and I didn't get it."
Yeah.
But now we're on the other side of Orange Friday. The great thing about all of those people is as soon as they got it, they were like showing pictures on their Facebook and tagging me and all that and saying, I got it. It's great. We had one person watch it on a 1 day or a 2 day rental. They watched it like 18 times.
Yeah, I noticed that at the end of the film, I mean, you do the outtakes, which is always great. Everyone loves outtakes. But you also had, like, I guess some of the fans that were sort of like giving testimonials and cameos. That one of them said, I've watched it 18 or more. She stopped counting how many times she'd seen
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then the very last one, the guy said, come on, honey, do it. No, do it. She goes, yeah.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's so great to be, especially in this day and age, it's so great to be part of one of the reasons why people smile. So that's why it's so great what you guys do. Yeah. You make people laugh. It's very important to laugh. And
I agree.
And Stand On It did that. And yeah, of course. Yeah. So Stand On It did that, and Poker Run does that. You guys do it. And I'm just proud to be part of what's good in people's lives rather than what's annoying.
How was it for you I know there was a big flood that happened not long ago down there. Did that affect the studios much?
Oh yeah. We had a Hurricane Ida came right over the studio, tore the house down where we did the green screen stuff with you, John. A big tree went right through that, dented up one of our General Lee's, our stunt car, and as we speak right now, that house that was my mother's house is gone. We had to demolish it. Oh. And we're putting up two basically they're storage sheds. We're putting up storage sheds, and that's going to be our new Miss Shirley's, our new inventory and store and all that. So I'm very proud of the people here at the studio because with all these orders we've had for Poker Run, there has been no store. So they've been doing it out of boxes that were in the caboose set we shot in, or the caboose that we shot in, boxes in a shed. And they've done an amazing job at keeping up with all these orders because we've sold thousands of these movies already. And I'm very, very proud of that. We want to sell thousands more, of course. But our elves, as I call them around this time of year, they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And hopefully in a week, we'll have an actual store-looking store again, rather than just a kind of a back room for them to work out of. So we've done everything we can to make a chicken salad sandwich out of this or lemonade, and I think we've done well.
Yeah. Also, props to I believe it was your mom that was the cook. I mean, she made some of the. Who was doing all the cooking? Oh,
that's actually my mother-in-law.
Okay,
Miss Linda made a lot of things. Also, Alicia cooked a lot of stuff. And if you remember, there was always a guy named Kenyon, and he's got a huge following. His Facebook page is called Southern Boys Outdoors, and that's boys with a Z. He's got like 3.5 million followers, so he doesn't need my help, but. He was a guy that was boiling crawfish all the time.
Oh,
so he cooked for everybody outside. He was there for, I think, a week and cooking for everybody. So Louisiana has people who are very proud of their recipes and their pride is well founded. So I enjoyed having Kenyon there and Miss Linda. And I think Mr. Mike, that's my father-in-law, he cooked a couple of meals while you were here too.
Oh yeah, I pigged out on spaghetti one night. I just ate myself right into a food coma. I mean, it was so good.
Yep. No, I love it. They call that coon-ass spaghetti. It's a very specific Louisiana spaghetti. A lot of times it's with a chicken in a brown sauce, not a red sauce, in a brown sauce. They call that a roux, R-O-U-X.
Yeah.
And I'm not a cook. Good. I just eat. I'm not sure what a roux is, although I guess it's the foundation of all things wonderful.
Some other questions I have. Your sheds look so badass, but I live on a farm in Michigan. If I get Reep to drive a pickup truck to you and put one of those sheds on the back and drive it up to me, would that be possible?
Sure.
Okay.
Look, believe it or not,
I like those.
I am in one of them now.
No, I'm impressed because I bought right before COVID. I moved out of Los Angeles because I had this weird, crazy feeling of why am I paying so much in corporate tax? Why am I doing all this stuff? And I fled California, and I live on about 500-600 acres of farmland. John's been here. He was actually at my house, and he goes, "You can hear bees on your front porch." I'm like, "Yeah, that's where I live now." Yeah. But I need a shed because the red squirrels I've lost my war against the red squirrels, and the squirrels have taken over one part of the shed, and now I got to rebuild. And your John Schneider sheds are really badass because they have that cool, I don't want to call them like farmhouse chic because that's very mineral paint box whiny, but they have that cool look to them. They're very white with black windows around them. Not expensive. I've been looking at sheds.
No, they're not expensive. And you can there's a great website that when you call up about them, it's called Bo Best Buildings or John Schneider Sheds. Yeah. When you talk to, actually, you're probably going to be talking to Alicia, to my wife, and she'll get on the computer with you and say, okay, where do you want the windows? Where do you want the door? Where do you want another door? Do you want a sliding door? What do you want? So you kind of design it together. Yeah. And then click OK. And then the other elves are busy making sheds right now as we're sitting here. Yeah.
Wow.
And then you wind up with it. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. They are right now, as we are here, one of the sheds they're building is like this shed. This will be for Miss Shirley's. So they're doing that right now over in the on the pad where my mother's house used to be.
Oh man, I didn't know you get custom made John Schneider sheds. That's awesome. You can. Oh, now I gotta have one.
Well, you're gonna be going to pick one up for me.
I'm gonna get me one too. Then
and then you're gonna swing back up to Michigan,
John,
and then.
Mr. Schneider, tell Mr. Heffron, I mean, the whole property you have, how many acres and what was it before you got it? I think this is interesting.
Well, he's got 500 acres and he can hear bees mating on his porch. So I can't really brag about it. We've got 150 acres and I can hear the grass grow.
Right.
When the train's not going by on the other side of the main road, I can hear the grass grow. But we've got 150 acres. It was a YMCA camp for 60 years. Kind of fell into disrepair, and I got a hold of it when I made a movie called Smothered. And Smothered has Kane Hodder in it, and Don Shanks, and Bill Moseley, and Malcolm Danar, and on. And it's a horror comedy. So this place really lent itself to exactly what I needed. And after we made that movie, I figured, well, shoot, if I can make that movie here, I can make any movie I can think of here. So back in 2013, I purchased it, and then I met my lovely Smile. I met Alicia in 2014 when she hired me to do a movie she was producing. So since then, we've made 10 films and I think 9 albums. Oh wow! So we're pretty prolific in creating content, and we distribute it ourselves, which John, because I don't believe in complaining at the machine and then hoping you can get the machine to bless your creativity.
Right.
So I think if I'm going to bitch about the machine, then I shouldn't want to work with them, and I don't. So when I wiped the dust of Hollywood off my boots back in 2011, I threw those boots away. Mm-hmm. So we do our own thing with our own friends, our own way, and we love it. And we sell thousands. We don't sell millions. Maybe we could. I mean, there's certainly more than 1 million people who are aware of Dukes and Smallville and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to get our sales up to if we could sell 100,000 of anything, then we'd never have to ask an investor for a dime again. Never.
Yeah.
We because our movies aren't expensive. They're $500,000. But I tell you what, if it's your $500,000, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, and there's some to be said with COVID and all that, and just private conversations me and Reep had. and you're talking about the machine. I shot a comedy special for Netflix 4 months too late. So what happened was I shot a special. I paid about $100,000 to shoot it in Irvine. My now 4-year-old comedy special, that's $100,000, is sitting on this hard drive right here. Right. That's as far as it's made it in the world, because Netflix stopped buying shows that weren't produced through Netflix. So you couldn't be just the random person who shot it. So Netflix went, no, we're only going to have arena rock guys. We're only going to shoot people that we shoot it. So you kind of sit here like that, right? Then I went, I'm going to put all my stuff on all these streaming services, and then that'll be how I'll get some of the money back. And then you put all that onto Spotify. And I've talked about this last week on thing. Spotify just took all comedians' albums and just their backlog off because Spotify doesn't want to pay.
John,
comedians.
Your internet is doing something.
John, pick up for me.
Can you see me? Can you see me, John Schneider?
Yes.
Hey, we're back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, John's on. He's so far out in the woods in Michigan.
So why don't you put it on Cineflix? Put it on our streaming platform. Yeah. So Cineflix DOD, which means digital on demand, because that stuff on your hard drive, John, is digital. It's not video. I don't know why Hollywood calls it VOD. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
So we did in 2016, we had planned an 8-week film festival, traveling film festival called Cineflix Fest. And when we did that, we went through the pains of creating a streaming service, which was Cineflix DOD, so that all of the independent films that were part of our film festival, all of their films were available for people to watch. So they didn't have to come to the theater. We wanted them to, but if they were 1,000 miles away and couldn't, we wanted them to be able to see the content. So we did that, and we had a flood that year. I'm going to tell you all that stuff, but we abandoned that after the 8 weeks. It was like, okay, we've lost enough money here.
Right.
We don't want to do that anymore. But we maintained the Cineflix DOD. So then later, when we realized, well, wait a minute, we don't want to be on Netflix because they have practices and policies that we don't agree with. We wonder, well, is Cineflix still around? And thankfully it was. We had kept up with GoDaddy or whatever it was. So we maintained our domain, and now all of our movies are there. So about 2 weeks ago, we let another movie in it's a short film that's about a terrible crime that is committed, and the police rush in and they push the guy that pulled the trigger out of the way, and then they draw their weapons on this AR-15. They arrest the AR-15 and then try the gun in court. It's a very quirky little odd movie called Liberty Waning. Okay. And so because of what's been going on in the news, we put that movie up. Now, not very many people have seen it, but the folks that make it, if you are on Cineflix DOD, then you are responsible, like I am, to make sure everybody knows where to go to get your movie. Mm-hmm. And tell them, look, if you want to support independent thought, you want to support independent art, get your lazy ass to Cineflix DOD and buy one of these movies right now. Buy my movie now. Mm-hmm. Or we're all just howling at the moon, and eventually we're going to dry up and go away, or we will have to, God forbid, compromise. I don't believe in compromise after 50. I didn't care for it before 50.
Right.
Oh man, I love that.
If you want your content on Cineflix, we can do that. And then
I don't know. Now I'm afraid that if I talk too fast, that my internet's going to go. So I'm going to talk very slow and monotone.
It's your fault, John.
It's but I think it's an age. Maybe it's an age thing. Especially, I've been in comedy for 35 years. Reep's been in this where you go. That nowadays you can just create so much just on your own that you don't actually with podcasting now. I think people with successful podcasters reach more people than the most famous radio guy in the 80s. You used to have to do radio interviews or bad zoo morning shows. That industry is up to their nose in water, drowning. It's all going to be voice tracked. There's nobody cares about who's on in the morning and playing. It's just going to be robots. And that's why I'm trying to get John to do our buddy flick, John Reep. He doesn't you, John. I'll tell you, John, it's about this 50-year-old guy who's watching an antique roadshow, sees a toy he got taken away from his third grade teacher and realized the teacher never gave it back to him. So he goes to find the teacher and says, "Where is my action figure?" And then it's me and John.
Where is my toy?
Yeah, but
what do you mean I don't like it, John? I told you I liked it last time.
I don't know. I got some other ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be working on you, Reep.
Do you have a script, John? Do you have a script or just?
I have a script on that one. It's called Adult Toys. It's a good. I have a script for that one. Yeah, it's and they go on a quest to find it. And what happens is he reunites with all of his childhood friends because he gave one of these toys to all of his friends, and he kind of wants them all back so he can make it together as a set so he can sell it. So he's kind of a dick to everybody he used to be friends with because he's not being honest with them on why he needs them. So, I got to ask you, John, did you do those? Well, yeah. Did you do those? What are they called? Like not they weren't Comic-Cons back in the 70s or 80s. I would go to we called them like Autoramas here in Detroit.
World of Wheels.
Did you ever do any of those?
Oh, every weekend. All the time.
Okay, so I think I did meet you. Here's where I met you. I was a little kid. I had an opportunity.
I remember.
And I'm not meaning this to be, I know it was you now. And it won't offend you because you're a grown adult man. So I was a little kid. The big Verner's ginger ale is huge in Michigan. If you have any type of cold, you drink Verner's. That's how I didn't get COVID. I just had Verner's and ice cream, and I was perfectly fine. The Verner's guy came up to me while I was trying to walk over to, I believe, where you were sitting, and my mom said, "Do you want his autograph?" And I was like, "It's the Verner's guy. Kind of don't care. I know it's a guy in a suit. I want to go over there," because Dukes of Hazzard to me meant more than Dukes of Hazzard. And I think it was people with my age, because here's what Dukes of Hazzard meant to me. My parents were divorced, so the weekends I would end up going to my grandparents' house.
Okay.
My grandma and grandpa would let me sleep on the couch. It was the equivalent of staying at a 5-star hotel. Okay. If she put a blanket on the couch, that meant you had TV all night, even till you could watch TV till the Star Spangled Banner starts playing and the birds flying. So you could stay up all night. And then so I associate Dukes of Hazzard, and I don't remember the lineup. If it was like Love Boat came on after, I know it was a Friday, but there were just a row of shows. And I knew that, by the time in the 80s, Three's Company came on, I was up too late as a little kid. Mm-hmm. But Dukes of Hazzard was just straight up right there. That was my partying for a Friday night on the couch. Grandma made cinnamon rolls. I'd watch it, and then I would norm my grandpa, because every time I would crash the General Lee, right, I go, shh, I'd land the General Lee, and I go, like I would have to do the end commercial noise instead of the actual car. So,
I love it.
How many cars? Speaking of that, John Schneider, how many cars did you guys total in Poker Run, do you think?
Oh gosh, probably 8 or 9 cop cars, and we only wrecked the one Challenger, my car. Yeah, but that's the one that I James had jumped in stand on it, so we fixed it. Okay, and then I jumped it again. It's still currently wrecked, but it runs, so I'm going to have it fixed again, and then I'm going to jump it in the next movie, and that's going to be a big jump. It's probably going to be the end of that car, but. So we have the only 2 T-top, we call them Hellcat. They're not Hellcats. They look like Hellcats, but T-top Hellcat Challengers really in the world. And I'm proud of that because I'm a car guy. That's why I did World of Wheels. Are you burners?
Are you currently shooting that now, or when does that start?
No. Right. We just got back from Indianapolis. We're going to start shooting that in March.
Okay.
Or maybe April. It might be that late because we film in and around Beau's Extravaganza.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which happens for my birthday. This year, my birthday is April 8th, but this year we're doing our event the third weekend in April. So we'll probably shoot 2 weeks before that and a week after. So we'll shoot all around that block of time. February, we're doing a movie that I haven't finished writing yet. So this is a great thing about the way we do it is I know we're doing this movie in February. It's called To Die For. It's a very serious film. It's about a Vietnam vet who has survivor's remorse, who's 70, and he's regretted that he had so many opportunities to die for his country and never did. So this is not a lighthearted film at all. And now he's still in his hometown. He's still where he grew up. And every morning he puts his American flag on the back of his El Camino, sings "You're a Grand Old Flag" with his old dog, gets in the car and drives past his old high school to have breakfast with his police officer friends. Well, now in this world, there's a restraining order against him that says he can't drive his car with that flag on it within 300 yards of that school.
Wow.
And the real irony there is that school, that building, is where he learned to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a movie about someone who is perfectly willing and actually anxious to die for his flag. So that's the one we're going to make in mid-January through the middle of February.
Wow.
And then we're going to be back into Southern horsepower comedy.
And then so we'll do adult toys.
What I was saying is the great thing about the way we do this is that I know we're filming that movie. Now I've got to finish the script.
Right.
In the old world, I would have a script that I would beg somebody out there to bless, and I'd have to go, blow the dust off it. I wrote it so long ago, I have no idea what the guts of it really is.
Right.
So now we're making things. We can make a movie that is absolutely current, and that movie will be out toward the end of summer in 2022, the year we film it.
Wow.
I thought of
there's no machine in the way. There's no BS in the way. And there's no committee of opinions that are not valuable that have to be valued.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yep.
So, John, send him the script, dude.
I know.
Well, I have one called Jimmy Got Jerked that I actually wrote. Tom Green and I were friends. We're not friends now, but I haven't seen Tom in a while. But I wrote a sequel, an unofficial sequel to Freddie Got Fingered called Jimmy Got Jerked.
Right.
And
oh boy,
he thought it was hysterical. And then the world went to hell in a handbag. So
and Tom ended up buying one of those vans, those like earth mover vans, and lived the van life. Just drives out into the desert and lives.
Yeah. Does his own video show podcast that way. Yeah, I love Tom Green as well.
Why not? Well, we're his manager or buddy is a dear friend of Alicia and I's now, and oddly enough, his name is John Schneider, and that's Rob's brother, John.
Oh,
so we talk to John a lot, and then I have another friend who's the general manager of the Seattle Seahawks, whose name is John Schneider.
Oh my God!
So we should have both of them on the show. Then everybody would be John.
Dude, here's another idea. Not that you need ideas to make money, but looking at your facility, I've watched a lot of the videos of you having your Beau Extravaganza and people showing up with their versions of the generally.
Right.
2 questions. When I did morning radio, I used to do morning radio with me and Danny Bonaducci. And one of the guy's a maniac, but one of the things that he taught me is never eat fan food. So when people would come by our station with like cupcakes or cakes or something, we'd immediately like toss it. But when I was younger, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, somebody made Rice Krispie treats. So do you live by that rule? Because I've seen people hand you food. It was your birthday and random people made you cakes. And it made me kind of wince to go, is he going to be nice and just taste it? Or is he going to go, this is very appreciative, and set it over to the side? Do you eat fan food?
I'm afraid I violate your rule, and I will.
And you ate it?
Occasionally eat fan food. I will occasionally do that. People know me. They know I like honey.
Okay.
People will bring me honey. That they've got bees. They'll bring me honey. For a long time, I talked about oatmeal raisin cookies, and people would bring me those. And but I will say that I've never been made ill by fan food.
Okay. Well,
and I have often been impressed by fan food. Seldom disappointed. So.
Well, maybe I shouldn't.
Personality, Danny's personality. Yeah. Somebody just might want to lace the food with something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Maybe I shouldn't get.
I wouldn't eat Danny's fan food, but I think he could eat my fan food.
I know me and Reep were out on a birthday.
I don't blame him for having that.
Yeah, rule. I remember me and Reep were out on.
What's the second?
Reep's
You have two. What's the second?
Yeah. The second one, you have that awesome facility where you can shoot stuff on your thing. And you also do, and I had it pulled up and I'm sorry, I lost it. You also do a bunch of Hallmark movies, which is a total thing. I wasn't into them, but then I had a box wine once and now I get them. I have a Hallmark movie generator. I can type in any name. And it'll print out a plot. But here's what I think you could do, right? Like I typed in, John and his Meredith. Famous country singer John set to marry a glamorous Hollywood actor returns to their small town roots when they cross paths with Meredith and their childhood sweetheart and blah, 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 and they figure out if they love each other. Here's what you could do on your studio. You have a lot of couples come through. You should set up a little green screen. Have a 2-line script and let everybody be in a Hallmark movie. Everybody wants to have that one moment where the guy can look at his wife crying and goes, "You don't need to cry. I know when your nose twitches, you're sad. I know when the sun comes up, you immediately think of grandma." Like you just have those moments and then you let people leave. I think there's something there. I think there's something there.
I think that's a great. I can't call it Hallmark though. I have to call it John Mark.
Yeah,
just a John Mark. Perfect.
I think that's a great idea. It could be scored like
scored. It's just like a personalized
scored like that.
And you have actors, or you just have them. Everybody wants to be in that scene, and they play it all the time.
You're right. I think that's a great idea.
So there you go. That's yours.
Have them jump the General Lee. Woo!
Yeah, exactly. So
we could do that too. I think that's a great idea.
Heffron is full.
I'm going to do the General Lee one.
Yeah.
I just had a movie. It's a Lifetime movie with Reba McEntire that I think is still running. It's a Christmas movie, and it's funny what you were just reading, because there used to be a book that it was like slug lines or something.
Yeah, and
it had 3. Wherever you opened it, if you read it from top to bottom, it was a plot, and it was great. Right. An inadvertent professor from Dartmouth winds up in Tokyo with a drug runner who really wants to be a
right
ballerina. Right. I'm going to try to find that book again. It was great, but those movies I enjoy doing those movies. I've only done one in quite some time. They're just showing. Mm-hmm. Because quite honestly, people know that if I'm in a movie, people are going to like it. And it's not because I'm great, but it's because I'm great at picking movies to do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I saw one with you just randomly. I think because we knew you were going to be on this podcast. I think the world kind of shows up. I was flipping through wherever I was performing last week, and you were at a campfire, and some guy decided he's not going to leave his hometown, and your daughter decided that everybody was happy. Everybody started singing Christmas carols.
Yep, surprise.
That's how every
surprise.
night should end.
That was poinsettias for Christmas, or poinsettias.
Something like that. Oh, that's how the world should be with your family.
You know, you're right. You're right.
All right, John and John.
And John.
And
Look
John,
this.
is what I'm getting. I'm buying some John Schneider sheds. I'm going to go watch.
Get you a shed and fill it with John
Stand
Schneider.
on it.
Yeah. Go fill it full of John Schneider movies or download Cineflix. I mean,
all you have to do is I have an app. You have a podcast. I'm working on a podcast. In fact, I have it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, very
I have
nice.
my podcast right here.
Yes.
Because I got one of these. I got one of these little kits. That's what all this stuff is. So so I'm going to do a podcast. I did my first episode yesterday. I'm not going to video it, not yet, and it's called "Don't Get Me Started."
Ooh.
But where I was going 28 seconds ago now was that I have an app. It's an app. It's free. It's called John Schneider. You can get it on your phone. It'll work on your iPhone. It'll work on your Android. It'll work, and it'll take you to the music and the movies and the dirt track tour. It'll take you to it's a stalker's best friend. Okay, it'll take you anywhere you want to go, in a bunch of places you probably wish you'd never been. But it will. It's great, and that way you can buy the movies, you can rent the movies, or you can get a hat, or you can watch John's scene in Poker Run, which that's such an important scene, because when we made Stand on It, people said, "Where's the Alfie scene where he gets yelled at on the side of the road?" So I said, "Just wait, it'll show up."
Yeah.
So rather than put everything from Smokey and the Bandit in one movie, we're kind of sprinkling little bits of of Smokey and the Bandit in there. Like in Poker Run, I said, "I'm in my elephant now," right?
Yes, right.
So I had to get the elephant in here somehow.
Yes.
So anyhow, guys, thank you. Before the podcast fairies,
stop us.
Again, God bless you. Have a wonderful Christmas. Have a wonderful holiday. John, I want to both of you, Johns. I want to read what you wrote about this idea, because I think it sounds cute. Adult toys. That sounds great. I'll send you Jimmy Got Jerked.
Okay.
And everybody else, just listen to this podcast exclusively, except for when mine comes out. And remember, it's called "Don't Get Me Started." So look,
Gotcha.
I'm talking like this.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Thank you, John.
I only got this. You take care. Let's cut this off before it cuts us off. This was a blast. You guys take care.
Take care, John.
Buddy.
Goodbye, everybody. You take care, and we'll see you down the road. And go to johnschneiderstudios.com. Get Poker Run today. Now.
Yeah. There you go. John Schneider, everybody. Come on, John Heffron. Clap with me.
Clap it, clap.
Oh, that was fun. The great John Schneider. Thank you, the Alan Jackson, for making all that possible. I mean, his internet was in and out, but that was pretty good. Pretty interesting conversation.
So many more to
I think he'll probably
shoot a movie.
Make that idea, dude. He's got the stuff.
I'll send it to him.
He's motivated,
right? And you go to that little park, just drive around.
Yeah.
Why not? What else? We got to eat. Like you said, it only takes a day.
How technical is your film? I mean, is it going to be hard? Can it be done on the green screen? A lot of it, because that's what he does. There's a lot of green screen stuff.
We could change it all up and say, because he's got a camp, right? So the whole thing of the movie is the kid has to travel all around to all these places to find these pieces. We could have them all at the camp.
Right. Okay.
So the whole deal is like there's kids at camp, and then the four of us grown-ups have to infiltrate, however you say that word? Infiltrate the camp.
Yeah.
And then try to find it.
Okay. All right. Well, look, let's think about it. He seems motivated and willing to work and do all that kind of stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, we weren't live, so we weren't paying attention to your comments at all, because this is not live. We will be live next week. So sorry if you thought this was live. But this is we had to shoot this when Mr. Schneider was available. He's a very busy guy. as you can see. So,
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Mr. Heffron, before we wrap this puppy up?
No, I was excited. I wish my internet was better. I was excited to talk to him. I mean, he was a icon of my childhood.
Yeah.
And dude does a lot of stuff. We didn't even get into his CBD bath bombs.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe next time. He seems like he's cool. And if he's got a podcast,
he's going to have a movie out every couple of weeks.
Yeah. He'll want to push it. So we'll do that. We'll abuse his friendship as well.
Start to make like a circle, like all these other comics do. We'll start to have
circle of abuse.
It'll be like he'll be our Theo Vaughn. That's on all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how those guys do it. How it's the same guys on every podcast. Mm-hmm. We're gonna create our own people that are just on us just all the time, like our own group.
I love it. All right. Well, look, everybody, go to heffronandreep.com. Be a Patreon supporter. Check out our tour dates. We are on the road. Maybe not. Let's see here. What day is it? As I'm talking to you, theoretically, today is the 20th of December. So Merry Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas week. New Year's Eve, I'll be at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. And John Heffron, New Year's Eve, will be in Raleigh at Good Nights.
Yes.
We'll see one of us there.
Yes, I will be there Thursday, that Friday, and then that weird-ass show on January 1st because it's a Saturday. So they have you do comedy. So that one's going to be odd. Yeah. So let's show up to that one. It's going to be nice and easy-paced. But if I can get the John Reep push to show up to Charlie Goodnight's that weekend, then I don't have to listen to the owner bitch about how I don't sell tickets. So that's a good weekend if everybody can show up.
Help my boy out. And then, John Heffron fans who are still in California, come show me some love in La Jolla. All right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Maybe we'll throw up one of these before Christmas. Maybe we'll have a very, very special Christmas episode. We don't know. Something. Yeah. Okay. All right, bro.
Cool surprises over here. All right, John Heffron. Good to see you. Love you.
Care. We'll
Take
see
us
you
out. I'm posing like some sort of Marvel character who like kills you with peace.
Since you love the Heffron and Reep show, please go to iTunes and let them know. Rank the show and leave a comment. We don't care what you write, you know. They, Heffron and Reep, have low self-esteem. So please validate them by ranking them and making them seen. So no matter